Wait.
Let me go over to the other
It's good to
side.
go now.
It's good to go. We're going.
Good evening, I'm Susanna Ibarra, Vice Chair of the Will County Progressives. We do have some announcements. Sunday, September 17th, Democratic Women of Will County are having their candidates forum from 1 to 3 at IBEW on Frontage Road in Joliet. On Monday, the 18th, Plainfield Village meeting, which Rebecca will be talking about more in just a minute. Friday, September 22nd, we have Teal Hardin. He is the only African-American candidate for governor of Illinois. And Sunday, the 8th, we are co-sponsoring with Our Revolution Illinois, the Governor's Forum between 1 and 3 at Chicago's Teachers Union Hall on 1901 West Carroll, Chicago. We will have a booth there, and we are co-sponsors of that. So I'm going to introduce Rebecca. We'll be having some more announcements.
More announcements. On the 18th, which is this coming Monday, the Village of Plainfield has its board meeting, and there are going to be two very interested groups coming, one being the Islamic Center, who's having some issues getting their final permits, so there'll be a lot of folks there to support them, I believe, and also the Park District, which is having some issues getting its final permits for the new rec center that's going to be at Bott Park. So we are asking people that would like to support the Park District to come, and if you come, you can have a shirt to wear. So if you come and you think you're going to come, grab one of these from me tonight and show up Monday at 7 o'clock at the Village Hall in Plainfield with your shirt on. And then the other announcement, which I think Sue's mentioned briefly, but I want to plug it a lot between now and the 29th, we're doing our precinct committee training, and we're going to have a panel of folks sort of cover pretty much all of it, what a precinct committee person does, the difference between elected and appointed. The big push right now is the time to become an elected precinct committee person. You have between now and December 6th or so to get your petitions passed. It's pretty easy because you only need 10 signatures on petitions to be a precinct committee person, but we recommend getting 20 or 30 of these. So on the 29th, we've invited all the folks who said in the past year or so that they want to be precinct committee people, and anybody else that you know of who wants to run, and maybe they're a little afraid of the process. We will hold your hand all the way. So please come on the 29th.
Can you give a brief explanation of what a precinct committeeman is and what it does, and briefly, since we have time?
Since we have time, a precinct committee person is the entry level to the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, whichever party you prefer. So it's an elected position, but it's not a typical government position. You're literally being elected to the party apparatus. So you are basically, as a precinct committee person, the front line. You're the person that goes around knocking on doors, making phone calls during primary and general time, or any time during the year if you're a really gung-ho precinct committee person like Bob Seville over here. You're the person that is the contact between your community and the Democratic Party. It's a pretty important job. It's not paid, it's not glamorous, it's some work, but those are the kingmakers. We are very, very lucky to have that opportunity. So if you know people, we're pushing really hard to get some turnout in Joliet for some of the underserved areas. So trying to find people that know people that already have connections in the community that people will open their doors to. We need to find folks so that the folks who don't have a voice right now can have a voice. And so please come on the 29th, learn more, bring people that you know that might be interested, and we will hold their hands and get them through the doorway.
Question, do you have to be a precinct, what do you call a precinct?
Precinct committee person,
Okay.
committee man, committee woman.
Okay, to be that, do you have to work, just represent your own precinct?
To get elected, you can only get elected in your own precinct. Almost never, and it's only a primary thing, because again, it's just for your party, so there's no general, and almost never will you be challenged. usually there's nobody else but you going to be running. But, I mean, we could have some tight races this year, who knows?
A precinct entails like between 300 and maybe 500 houses of doors that you go knock and tell them.
Generally about 6 to 100 to 1,000 people. You can get appointed as a precinct committee person anywhere in the county. So if people need help and you aren't elected, or there's somebody already in your precinct that's really good that you don't feel like running against, what have you can get appointed anywhere. But this period of time right now is important because now is the time where you have to pull petitions, get your name on the ballot, and get ready for the primary, which is in March. So we can get you appointed anytime, but to get elected, now is the window. And elected is really what you want to do if you're serious, because elected gets to vote on who's the officers in your township Democratic Party, who's the officers in your county Democratic Party. So you have a real voice in the leadership of the local party. So it's important. So if you know people that have a little bit of motivation and really want to see some more folks getting involved electorally and some more folks having a voice electorally, please come on the 29th. And with that, are we going to pause, or are we going to turn it over to one of the 8:15 folks to punt until your guy gets here? Did you want to introduce?
So without further ado, we have a special presentation, Joliet 815 Unity Movement, a grassroots group that started right across the street, Noel Park, I believe, and built upon the ways that they're helping the children in this specific community, this area. So I'm going to introduce Damian Doherty from Joliet 815 Unity Movement. Thank you.
How everybody doing? I'm Vice President of Joliet Unity Movement. Like she stated, we're a grassroots organization. We've been in existence for almost 4 years now. We started via social media. There was a question going around. They posed a question about the conditions of Joliet and how things have changed from like when we grew up, and just over the generations of how things have changed, especially in the rough neighborhoods. And they posed the question, what could we do? So 2 guys, Sharon Graves and Remy Parham, which are the founders of our group, they got together and said, you know what, let's meet at Noah Park, bring our notebooks, and let's sit down and brainstorm and come up with some ideas. So that's how we started. We started over at Noah Park. We came together, we met, and our first thing we came up with was, let's get the kids together. Let's throw a big gathering at the park. And we did a lot of planning, put a lot of thought behind it, brought in a lot of people to help us. We started off with like 16 men from various neighborhoods in Joliet. And it was a successful event. It came together real well. It was like between 500 to 600 people that came out. It was a huge, massive event. I mean, great turnout. It was great to see the kids enjoy themselves. We had a 2-day event. The first day was a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, so we gave the kids something to do as far as activity-wise. The next day we had a talent show, and that was a nice turnout as well. The kids really showed and displayed their talent, so we kind of wanted to give the kids an opportunity, a safe haven so they could shine and come together and have some safe, wholesome fun. So that's generally what we're about, trying to really grab the kids while they're young and give them the message that you can be whatever you want to be. You know, pretty much teach them to make the proper decisions, the right decisions. The guys that originally made up the group, we come from different various walks of life. Some were more in depth into the streets, got into a little trouble. So that's why we came together and we decided, you know what, let's give these kids a message. Don't walk down the same path that we did. You can you can be successful and do anything you want to be, you know. So that's generally just a general summarization of how we touch bases.
So my name is Amy. I'm a volunteer with Joliet Unity Movement. I got involved, actually Damien was the one that called me when they were already formed, the group of men, just to kind of be a support person. And little did I know that would elevate into so much more. I was actually sitting in this very room when I first heard about the plans and what they had in the works. And there was somebody planning something along with some same lines that same weekend. Not the same lines, the same message, but just had a message they wanted to bring. And there was a lot of feedback about the guys that were putting the first 815 weekend together. And a lot of discussion, quite frankly, about it without them being present to answer any questions. And a comment was made that really spurred me into knowing for sure that I had to support their mission and what they were about to do. The comment was made, well, look at what kind of people are putting it together. Look what kind of crowds they're going to turn out. It'll be over before it starts. And I was kind of offended and I was kind of disturbed because I said, these are guys that are trying to make a difference right now. Their message is clear about stopping the violence and giving a positive message to the youth. I don't care what their backgrounds look like. I don't care what the color of their skin is. I don't care what economic background they came from. They're trying to send a message. So I knew right there at that moment that I wanted to make sure that that was a successful first event. And the first event had an aim to reach as many younger kids as we could. And from there on, we continued meeting every Sunday at Knoll Park under the pavilion. And it evolved. And now we're a nonprofit organization that services not just youth, but also we found, when serving the youth, that their older siblings started becoming involved. And they needed something high school age and beyond. So we started tackling that as well. Parents started coming out. So one of our positive success stories is we talked with the elementary schools and we wanted to get into the elementary schools. And one of the staff members came up to me during an event that we had outdoors and said, how are you getting that parent and that parent to participate, and not only participate but volunteer? We can't even get that parent to register their child for school on time. These are parents that fall through the cracks, whose kids ultimately fall through the cracks, that you guys are spurring and you guys are igniting. And what are you guys doing? How are you doing it? And the truth of the matter is we didn't have some secret, multi-million-dollar stash of money to do an excellent marketing campaign just like everybody. We literally all pulled money out of our wallets and purses and said, let's put this together and make it as great as possible. And as we've evolved over the years, we've seen local business persons and other people in the community that seen what we were doing and saying, hey, I want to invest a little bit in you to make sure. And it literally just covers our overhead costs to be able to put an event together or a mentoring program together. And what we do is just recreational, educational, and motivational events that inspire and build and inspire our youth, therefore impacting the community, so empowering the community, so we're seeing that. We're seeing that we're not giving them 20-minute after school session and go back to your neighborhood. We're actually in the trenches. We're actually going to the housing projects. We're actually in the middle of neighborhoods that sometimes services that are most needed don't get to. So we're having candid conversations with kids in school and telling them about our walks of life and different things that happen. The most interesting thing that all of us have in common is we've all been affected by violence to some degree or another. I'm a survivor of violence. Again, like Damien iterated, there's some people that have been in prison before. There's some people that went, one of our members that used his career, his college scholarship, went and got a business degree, and now he's back and serving when he can, when he's traveling back and forth on his work assignments. And he comes back to give a message to the kids like, I'm going to spend some time and invest in you. I grew up in the same neighborhood you did. I look just like you, and I made it, and you can make it too. And that's the message that we're sending to our youth. We've had different events from movie nights. We purchased our own projector and our inflatable movie thing because unfortunately, the park district has movie in the parks, but it's not necessarily in the parks or the neighborhoods that all of our kids can go to. So we just expanded that. We work with the community centers as best we can. We partner with Spanish Community Center as much as we can. They open their doors to us willingly for Easter extravaganzas that we put together, for Halloween bashes. We have one coming up. Forest Park Community Center, we've had movie nights there, movie days there as well. We've been in the Fairview Housing Development. We were in the Des Plaines Gardens Housing Development before it was torn down, and now it's being redeveloped. And our goal is just to make sure that we're connecting with youth, and not just connecting with them, but following them through and making sure, hey, they see us at their basketball games. They see us, coming in on report card days, whether it's with our kids or, just coming in general to talk to the principal, and they see us and they recognize us, or they see the shirts that we have. We've kind of done a few variations of our logo. Our logo has our, interstate logo with the 815 in the middle, but our name is Joliet Unity Movement. Everybody just calls us 815 because of the big logo in the middle. But our original logo is red, white, and blue with black as well. And it was just a hit with the kids. They want the t-shirts. They want them in their school colors. We've given away more t-shirts than we've purchased, almost. We like everything we get in, we almost literally give away because we want to build and inspire our kids, because we want them to have the stage. We want to showcase them. And what we found was at all of our events, our first few events especially, that first hour or so, that first 45 minutes, the kids kind of are standoffish. They kind of, it's an icebreaker. And as soon as they realize, we're here just for you. You can just be free to be a kid right now. Even junior high school kids that tend to grow up a little quicker, than they used to, are just kind of free, carefree, and they're going and just enjoying themselves. And they realize, I don't have to be a grown-up right now. I don't have to overcome burdens and obstacles and adult problems. I can just be a kid. So we're having a great time building the kids. We're expanding. One of your members, Loretta Westbrooks, is one of our members. We had her first. And she's been a great inspiration to all of us as a board. Julia Alexander recently joined our board. Our board is comprised of Willie Irvins, our president, Damian Doherty, our vice president, and a host of other, really, really powerful and impactful men and women that are passionate about what we do. We're in a year-round calendar event. Our year starts, the anniversary, we just completed our 4th 815 weekend in August, so we do a playoff of the 8th month of the year, being August, and the 15th day. So again, a playoff of 815. As close to the 15th as possible. So in August, we gave away, in partnership with another entity, about 200 book bags. We gave away money for the basketball prize winners. We gave away trophies. We gave away talent show trophies and money. The first 2 years, we were able to give away $1,000 cash to the person. We kind of did a raffle of the 4.0 challenge that we called it. Anybody that maintained a 4.0 grade point average or above for the entire school year got put into a raffle to win $1,000 cash, and we literally gave it to them right there on the stage. What else? What am I missing? We've done presentations at Union School and done some activities with the kids at Union. We've done a presentation at Joliet Job Corps, and what I'm telling you, that was invigorating. It was so just moving to hear the kids kind of joking and kind of not taking us seriously, the youth there that are young adults, 16 to 24 or 5, I believe, they take them at Job Corps, and to come from different parts of the Chicagoland area and just kind of getting them from, joking and kind of not taking the whole, because it was the entire school, taking it seriously, to complete silence when they heard the different stories and the different backgrounds that we all gave about our walks of life, and about the seriousness of making good decisions, and about the importance of, you may not care right now, because one individual just kind of had that attitude. Well, I don't care, I'm going to do what I have to do, and that's the lifestyle I live because nobody's out there looking out for me. And I said, how old is your little brother or sister? And they got quiet. I said, that's my story. That's what happened to me. Someone shot up my house trying to get my cousin, and they shot me by mistake when I was 9 years old. And I wasn't supposed to live, and I was in a coma for 11 days. And it just kind of rivets them, because I'm big and bad and tough in my shell, but when you talk about my little brothers and sisters who I'm hoping and praying can get out of this lifestyle that I know I'm leaving behind, then you got them thinking on a different level. And then when the other gentleman started speaking about their life in crime and then their life in prison, when none of those guys that they used to look after and look out for are there for you anymore, that kind of, you get a quiet time, you get that pause for a moment where you can just, now we have to sow a good seed into them right now, when they're just quiet, just long enough to kind of understand, this might be something I need to hear. So with that being said, our message is, again, our calendar year kicks off in August. We have upcoming events going on tomorrow night. We're having a youth summit where our youth kind of hold a panel and we talk about topics and discussions that impact them and kind of see where they need to be directed.
Where is
And
that, Amy?
that's actually going to be held right here at Unity CDC.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you need any volunteers, or do you have it all? Yeah.
Tomorrow, we don't need any volunteers. I would say it's for tomorrow, but we do have our annual Halloween bash that's coming up at the Spanish Community Center on Halloween. It'll start at 6 p.m. and we definitely need volunteers for that. We'll have stations set up. We'll have a dance performance. Julia is getting a choreography together to do a dance performance. We'll have everything from a coloring station to painting pumpkins to a DJ, giving away popcorn, juice. So we'll have several different stations set up. And our last one, probably about 250 kids showed up with their families. Our first one, it snowed on Halloween. So before we could even get set up, the families were already coming in because they knew it was a safe haven. They knew that that's where somewhere we can go that's positive and successful, and we're not going to be running you out in a 2-hour time limit when your time is up for your little party. We're really enjoying the kids and having it a long time and letting them again burn off some energy, get sugared up, have some things that's just for you. That first year I had a little girl tug at my shirt and she's like, whose birthday is this? This is a big party. I said, it's not anybody's birthday. And she just looked at me confused. And she's like, why are y'all doing all of this? And I said, for you. And she's like, for me? And I said, this is all for you. We want you to know that this is for you. And to see the smile on her face, to see the impact that we don't know what they're going home to at the end of the day. You don't know. And sometimes we do know as we've grown on. I can't tell you how many times Loretta has sat with young people that have literally walked them through, it's going to be okay. These are the steps that you can take, and these are the resources that we can provide and help get you connected with to make good, better decisions. There was a girl that was on the verge of not graduating high school. She literally reached out to a couple of us, and she was just like, my foster mom doesn't care. She's not going to pay for this class that I unfortunately failed, and the only thing I want to do is graduate. I just want to be successful. And she was just pleading with us, and we worked out an option for her, and we talked with her school and talked to her counselor. She literally had nobody, and we were able to fill that void for her. So it's very, very, very rewarding in and of itself. But of course, the laborers are few, so we are always in need of ongoing support, be it volunteers, be it a donation of any type, be it even sometimes in-kind services. Some people, own a farm and they can donate pumpkins, so that's one less thing we have to purchase, or, what have you. When I say every single penny that is ever raised goes right back to the kids and the events that we do. Every last one of us are volunteers, even our board of directors are volunteers. So it's a privilege to serve under such awesome leadership and just watch it all transpire and take place. We invite you to come to any of our events. We'll be having an end of the year light up the lights party. A lighted up party. It's going to be all glow sticks and flashing lights and lots of good music. Beginning of the year, we'll have a bunch of more events. We're looking at doing a spelling bee, not just for the youth, but kind of expanding it, maybe even to our elected officials to join in a spelling bee or something, and see how well they can spell potato. But different things. We have a host of ideas, and we definitely need support ongoing. And encouragement too, because sometimes we deal with a generational gap when it comes to the people that are involved, to the people that are in power, and sometimes they don't see that there's people that are our age and younger that don't want to get involved because they've been scorned or hurt or dismissed by people in power for so long, be it whomever. And we have something great going, and we want to keep the momentum going as well. Okay, I'm talking too much. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, she pretty much summed up everything that we have done over the past couple of years. And like I said, it's a joy working with the kids. A lot of children are from single parent homes, so the joy on their faces when we interact with them, when we play with them. Just recently when we had our 815 day at the park, we had a tug of war game.
Yeah.
So just to see the little ones from, from 5 and up, just to see them interact and have a good time, and just, it's a beautiful thing. So I'm very proud of our movement and where we're going with it.
So we get a hold of you if we're interested in getting involved, we find you on Facebook or?
Yeah, you can check us out on Facebook. I believe, there's a card with me. Joliet Unity Movement. Just put that in the search engine, and it should pull up all of our pages. You can also Google us. We're on several different social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, and you can pretty much follow us on those sites and see what's going on, and events coming up and everything.
And then we can be reached at JolietUnityMovement@gmail.com as well. And our office, our business phone is 815-324-2499. If we don't answer, because again, we are volunteers, we are very good about calling, right back after a message has been left between one of us. And what else? That's how to contact us. We also have shirts that we do, some of our fundraiser. We sell shirts for $10. And that goes for basically the shirt and a couple dollars to go towards our little benevolent fund to continue our work that we do.
I'm sorry, real quick, the bowling fundraiser?
Oh, yeah.
Can you mention that?
Yep, we have a fundraiser coming up October 14th. It's a Saturday evening. It's like a candlelight bowl from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pizza, drinks, and unlimited bowling during that time frame. We're gonna have some nice music and then hopefully some nice raffle items as well. And we'll be going from there.
Where's that one?
It's at Crest Hill Lanes on Theodore.
So is your chairman still on his way? He's just in traffic?
Yes, he's en route.
So why don't we ask a few questions,
Sure.
and then if we run out of questions, we'll pause the video and folks can go get food, and then we'll start
Sure.
again when he gets here.
Okay.
So anybody else have questions before we pause?
Yeah, do you get any government funding or local government funding? Do you apply for any?
Not at this time. We're not. The financial state crisis and the municipal crisis at this time, we haven't applied. We've been, consciously aware that it's in definitely dire need right now. So at this point, we've done our own self-fundraisers, and then again, small business persons like Mr. Terry Darcy and different ones that have donated small amounts of contributions to us to help sustain.
Didn't know if there's any local government money that might be available.
They're definitely dried up, sorry. The state of Illinois is in a budget crisis, and the Spanish Center can't get funded, and the Senior Services Center can't get funded, and that's why we need to help these people, because they're not getting any outside funds at all. Even the other groups aren't getting outside funds, so they're a grassroots organization that started right across the street, and that's why we need to help these people.
We're just starting year 4 right now.
Are you guys being allowed to have any input into the new recreation center from the park district?
So the plans that were in place, there was open public meetings. Many of us attended the open public meetings just on our own individually. Some of us are involved in other things as well, such as Loretta, who's also involved in Will County Progressives and other things. So keeping our ear to the ground as to what's happening. I'm also a member of Unity CDC neighborhood organizations as well. So not necessarily our organization as a whole with input, but as individuals, we've all kind of done our due diligence as far as keeping our ear to the ground on what's going on. So we are excited about the new, Damien and I both were at the groundbreaking ceremony, and we definitely are excited about it. It's definitely a need in the community, and hopefully going to provide some great services and be affordable for the community that it serves. So we will be walking that project along, and when it opens, we will be actively engaged in, using the facility. And, the Park District has been a great friend to us as far as helping us with our 815 weekend every year. So we look forward to that facility coming to fruition. Any other questions?
Volunteers, how do you get volunteers? Is there like a website or the Facebook page that allows them to sign up to volunteer?
We don't have like a specific sign-up sheet itself. If you're interested in volunteering, shoot us an email or inbox us on any of the social media sites.
Can we make one for you and we just leave it here?
Absolutely.
Okay. let's do
Absolutely. If
that.
you're interested in volunteering, leave your contact information and we'll reach out to you and let you know what our process is for volunteering. I think at one of our last meetings, they were mentioning, somebody says, you guys get to have fun. And it's a lot of hard work, like right up until the very end. It is a lot of hard work, but definitely well worth it. It is another, a job for us, and we work hard. We work really hard.
We took a group of kids fishing, was it last year? And that was a good experience too. I got the old school bamboo rods. Oh man, that was something else. And the kids enjoyed themselves. So we're just trying to do different activities with them that they wouldn't normally do. I want to take a group of kids camping and kind of show them Boy Scout skills, survival skills, just stuff that this new generation isn't taught. So, that was fun. But we definitely get in contact with us on Facebook or, like she said, any social media site that we're on, and we'll get back with you guys on that.
We were also granted a good opportunity. Mr. Terry Darcy, above and beyond what he normally would contribute, he sponsored our zoo trips in partnership with the Zoological Society of Brookfield Zoo. We had 2 buses, so this is we've done 3 years of zoo trips. And to get families, we're not a field trip, we're not gonna babysit the kids while, parents stay home. We're telling the parents, come out and take your kids, let's go have a family experience. And we've had parents that are amazed. They wouldn't normally be able to afford the travel expense as well as, the entry for a large family for some of them. But we've covered the transportation, the entry, especially 2 special exhibits, I believe, 1 or 2 special exhibits, and lunch as well. And to get some kids that have never been to the zoo, the animals, the zoo ambassadors come out and bring the animals to the kids, and having that experience that they normally wouldn't have in the community is breathtaking for them. It really is amazing. If you're able to go to any of our social media sites and look at the pictures are literally capturing the awe that the kids are in and the families are in. To be able to do that, we were able to go to 2 White Sox games and got transportation covered for them and stayed and just kind of had that big baseball field theme. We're working on a DeSable Museum trip. We're in the very, very early stages of working on a college tour. Loretta's very passionate about, higher learning and planting that seed into the youth at an early age. She's worked passionately over the years with young adults and youth to make sure that they're able to be college bound and that they've got that seed sown in at an early age. Julia is giving us a wonderful insight into choreography and dance and just really getting us, again, to expand our horizons as to, beyond basketball and talent shows and dance contests, really kind of exploring more of the culture of arts and definitely an education realm as well. And getting those parents those support services as well, connecting them with Connect to Work and, on-the-job training with, the resources that are available at Workforce Services, and hopefully, to encompass an overall program to be self-sufficient and make good decisions overall.
I see that everything you do when Senator Pat McGuire is available, he is always at every.
He's a great supporter since day one. I will tell you, he has defended us in our absence, and it's come back to us, oh, they just want to go out there and play with the kids, and, are they really impacting the kids? And Senator McGuire has been a very long-time supporter since the very first 815 weekend. Blood Police Officers Association has done amazing work with us. The Joliet Police Department overall, that first 815 weekend, they were out there in droves. The Chief of Police was out there. Chief Benton was out there offering support as well. So it is. Every time we tell them, we've got an event going, just so you're aware, this is what we're doing. We always do a courtesy call, and they always send, support, extra, just sometimes an extra patrol car. Sometimes they, the fire department has always sent out their fire trucks to do, they've sprayed the kids, they've gotten them wet, they've shown them all different types of stuff in the fire truck. So it's really, again, good having positive images and positive relationships in a different atmosphere to teach them to learn how to trust and to, know your rights and know, different types of line of work as well. So it's been very positive. I don't know if I'm missing anything that we've done over the years. So we've got great things on the horizon as
I'm
well.
so impressed. It's a group that just started right across the street. And it was just dads to begin with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so impressive to me. I think it's amazing when there's plenty of dads that don't even, want to be engaged or involved in their lives. And you guys are not only engaged and involved in the lives of your kids, I'm sure, but all of the other children in the community, whoever wants to be involved here, is all of these dads and some moms are joined on. And it's so impressive to me. I'm very impressed.
Julie,
We
are we
wanna be
missing
involved
anything? Do you
in
want to
life.
add anything?
Yeah, is there anything you want to say, Julie?
Well,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I didn't want to go there.
I know, but
Their camera put 10 pounds on.
Yeah.
I should have brought mine.
no, the camera's lady, not camera shy.
I know. I just want to say that, hi, I'm Julia Alexander, and I am not only a member, a newbie member of Joliet Unity Movement, but I am also the president of Taj Productions, which is a not-for-profit fundraising organization, and I am the host of Joliet Community Television Station, as well as the newly elected treasurer. And I have been watching them and following Joliet Unity Movement for a while, filming them, airing them on my TV program, and watching these young men and women and seeing how they're impacting the children in our community. It's not just the lower income families, but it is all of the children that they are impacting. And it's not just the lower income families that they reach out to. Their doors, our doors, I can say now.
Yeah.
Our doors are open to any and everyone, because there are people, children that lives in other communities that are going through things as well.
Absolutely.
That we will reach out and help them with. One of the things that I really, really love is the fact that we are embarking in, and not just now embarking, but we are really serious about taking this higher education to another level. We do want the children to have fun by all means, but fun is not going to get you a job. Fun is not going to sustain you, for a lifetime. So we've all sat down and collaborated, and we've been, like Amy says, and Damien, we've been really putting this on the front burner because it's very important. And that's what we had talked about in our last meeting. We did give $1,000 to the scholar children. And so we are hoping that this next go round that we can take that $1,000 and take these children on these college tours so that they can see what college is about and what their future holds for them. And so I just want to say, and then I'm going to sit down, that I am very proud to be a part of Joliet Unity Movement. I totally believe in what we're doing, and I know that it's going to be nothing but, it's not going to do anything but elevate in the future. It's going to be very, very awesome. I can see the results from it already. And like I said, I'm just new, and I see the results. I've been seeing the results, and those are the results of what they're doing is what brought me in to say that I do want to be a part of this. And I am very happy to be a part of this, and I look forward to us just elevating and just taking children and parents, we just don't limit it at the children. There are parents that need help too. And so we mentor the parents, do we not? We assist the parents, do we not? Connect with the parents. And then one more thing, and I'm really going to sit down. Joliet Unity Movement is really, really that bridge that brings the community and the politicians, the police. You guys we've been bridging all of that together. Because like Amy said, there was a gap in there. But I think that when everybody relaxed, the children relaxed, the police relaxed, the community relaxed, and saw what was really going on, I think it's just a smooth flow. I think that there are much more communication and trust, and I think that is one of the things that we need within our city. We need to know that we can trust our police officers, and they need to know that that we're going to call on them when we need them, and that they can trust us as well. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. One other thing I want to point out, since we mentioned Senator McGuire, we were able to get Congressman Foster on a hoverboard at our last year's Easter extravaganza. So he has been a supporter of ours as well, but he did go on the hoverboard, and we've got capture featured of it, so make sure you check out our Facebook page. He is on the hoverboard on our Facebook page. But definitely support from Larry Walsh Jr. as well as other elected officials that have supported us. We definitely need to emphasize to them that we just need support,
That's right.
beyond the events and beyond the next, we have an 815 Awards Gala that we celebrate not just common people or traditional people who get paid to impact the community. We're highlighting people that are the unsung heroes in the community.
What's the date for that?
We have not set up that date, so we've had 2 815 galas. Depending on funding, we will determine if it's going to be the end of this year, or we may have to push it to the beginning of next year. So those are in the works, but our 815 Awards Galas serve as a fundraising event as well, and we actually recognize people in the community like Matt Munoz, who grew up in a rough part of town, and really he's owns his own home. He has a beautiful family. He's a union laborman, and he's been, at the time he was the president of Belmont Little League, and just poured so much of his time and money and effort and personal resources into bringing Belmont to a better situation that they were in before. He's one of the ones we recognize. We've recognized Tommy Wayne Poe, who does significant work in the Spanish Center Baseball League. We've also recognized, who else?
Several outstanding students.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm trying to think of another official that we recognized. Certified, the owner is certified.
The owner, before they even thought about closing down, or maybe he thought about it and didn't announce it, but long before they made ways to close the 2 East Side certified grocery stores, we recognize them for not just being a service in the community with their grocery chain, but providing a lot of people with their first jobs by staying in the community when other places fled. And this always gets really sensitive with me, especially now that they're gone. But when you went into Certified, it was very much a community store. He bought, I said, you've got a couple of tickets, who would you like to bring? And he brought his long-standing staff with him that have been there with him through trenches. Mr. Eddie Mercer that lost his wife, Janet, in a battle with cancer, and they both worked there up until the point that she passed on. But those were all the community members, and it was so amazing when we also recognized Mr. Keon Snap, and when Matt came up to accept his reward, he said, Matt Munoz came up to accept his reward for baseball, but he goes, but I was coached by Keon for wrestling. And Mr. Dale Evans was in the room, and he goes, and Mr. Dale, he helped me and guided me too. So it ended up being a whole encompassing moment that all members of the community, we all are interdependent on each other. That small town feel that we've gathered and we've grained in Joliet is just a big, small city, and we need each other to be successful. We need those people that are impacting our lives in a positive way to be successful, and our kids need that now. And we don't need to, just because funding is dried up or just because people have moved away, we still need to make sure that we're impacting the kids so they can experience that same success when they get older.
Do you have anything on Channel 6 coming up?
Yes, I do.
That's related to this?
I will be having, every event that we're going to be doing is going to be coming up on Channel 6.
Okay, do you have some dates and times?
I don't, it will be shortly after the Monday following the event, because we only air on Mondays. Every Mondays, the scroll changes and it airs on Monday, but what will happen is that I will put it in our, on our Facebook page. I will put it out there so that anyone that wants to see it, they can go in and find out, or I will contact Susanna, and Susanna can contact you. But I can't say,
We'll post it.
I can't say until the date what times are, because you can go to the Joliet website. Now I can tell you that website, to go to, and you can find out when it's going to air, and it will air 4 times a day. For
The Channel
1
6
week.
website?
Yeah,
Yeah.
For 1 week, it'll air 4 times a day, 5 days a week. And so if you don't catch it Monday, you'll catch it Tuesday. If you don't catch it at 2, you'll catch it at 5. So, but it's good because people work different shifts. And so we want to make sure that we cover everyone. But I will certainly get that out there to you. And the name of the program is Be Informed. That's the name of my program, Be Informed. Or you could go on the YouTube page, and it's Be Informed with Julia Alexander, because the things that after they air on TV, I then place it on the YouTube page.
Awesome.
What is the ratio of boys to girls, or is it just random? Would you say it's more boys, or is it
I
just
would say that we reach out and touch about 200 kids on a regular basis.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think
Of that, I would
It's
say
even.
it's really good mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it's a really good mix of boys and girls.
Okay.
And depending on which volunteer you ask, like, I favor the boys. I have 4 sons. The boys can do no wrong, in my opinion. You ask somebody else, if you ask our president, Willie, he's
Yeah.
gonna tell you the
He has a
girls.
little girl.
The girls are it, and so it would depend. But I would say it's a good mix. At our highest peak at our events, we've had 500 plus on several events, actually. We had a skating night, we had our 815 weekend. Our first skating night in the middle of a snowstorm in January, we packed out the skating rink with nearly 500 skaters. They ran out of skates
Yeah.
completely. We had tons of giveaways and everything that we did, and it was just a really, really positive event that we did for the kids.
Is there a target
Laser tag?
of the ages? Is it from like the littlest ones all the way through high school, or?
We used to do 8th grade and under, and again, we found that, the 8th graders that were in year 1 are now in high school, and they were still coming back to the event, so we put them to work. And we said, okay, we're gonna volunteer, you need community service hours. So for example, the youth summit tomorrow night is geared towards junior high and high school kids. And the youth summit, tomorrow the topic is back to school, now what? And we're really gonna dig in and talk about some things, but the youth are gonna be leading the panel. We're just gonna be kind of there to guide it, and we're really gonna touch the pulse of what they're dealing with on back to school. We have some presenters from the high school that are gonna be doing presentations. The student ambassadors from Joliet Township High Schools are gonna present, and it's gonna be just basically an icebreaker. Our youth summit last year was about violence and about making good decisions on violence, and we talked about everything from the adults in the room having their experience with violence to the murders of Tyshawn Lee, who was 9 years old and was murdered in Chicago, and then 20 years prior to that, a 9-year-old who was in a gang by the nickname of Yummy, who was also murdered execution style by his own gang. And we talked about the difference of those 2 youth, and it really, really engaged the youth in some conversation about, making sure that we're making good choices, even when it seems cool to kind of hang out, about really making some good positive choices.
And that was really cool because they actually asked a great deal of questions. Is that where you had the picture?
Mhm.
The young men they did, they were really engaged. They asked lots of questions, so that was very good.
And that is on Julia's Facebook page. We've shared her YouTube videos of our events onto our Facebook page. And it was a very, like I said, a very, very good topic, a very good thought-provoking topic. And we'll be meeting the 3rd Saturday of each month for our youth summits. And our goal is to talk about more serious, things that affect our kids and what's really happening, and, what they're faced with in society. Yes, ma'am.
You answered a couple questions for me. I've come by Noble Heart a couple times in the past. Seemed really healthy, well-attended events. Not been aware, and I said, well, what is that? It's something that's going on here.
Yeah, thank you.
So you answered that for me.
Anything else?
Do you want to pause and start again if he comes, or?
Yeah, I think we can kind of go ahead and close out. He was just going to show a slideshow presentation with pictures and different things that are on our Facebook page and different highlights of a lot of the events that we've done as well. Oh, and another thing that we did, and I'm going to sit down for real. We got to do something exciting. We did a presentation to Lincoln School. It's an alternative school. So we did a presentation. We really got some good engagement with most of the class settings that we presented to. But then we had an invite to come back, which was really exciting and really rewarding. The graduates, because they're in an alternative school, they're not allowed to have graduation. They're allowed to pass on to return back to their school, which is the ultimate goal. Or if they've graduated high school or 8th grade, they don't get a ceremony. That's part of the conditions of them going to the alternative school. And some of them are there for attendance, some of them are there for behavior, some of them are there for grades. But we got to surprise probably about 15 kids. And Loretta and I were the first ones there. We set up and we did a graduation party for them. We made certificates and put them in frames. We did gift bags for them, for each of the graduates. We did a whole sheet cake and put each of their names on it. And we did pizza as well. We were allowed to bring all that stuff in because we can do it as an outside entity coming in, but the school cannot do that. And the kids came in and sat down and they just kind of looked and they were surprised and they see the graduate bags. And we called out each of their names and we had them, when they got back to their seats, we had them look at their certificates. And we asked the question, how many of you guys didn't think you'd make it to this day for graduation, be it 8th grade to go back into high school, or from high school you've now got your you're not graduated. And I said, you don't have to raise your hands, but how many? And a couple people raised their hands anyways. I said, how many of you were told that you wouldn't make it to see this day? How many did you have a parent or a teacher or somebody that doubted you, that said you weren't going to be anything and you weren't going to be anybody? And you saw a young man specifically, but several kids, shake their heads or put their heads down. But this one young man in particular, he started hitting his chest and he said, that's my story. He said, that's me. And his eyes flared up and he goes, I did it. And I said, and I don't want this to be your last graduation. I want you to look at this graduation certificate and then come back and know you have a high school graduate, you have a college, you have a trade, you have something, you can be somebody. And we just really did a lot of positive affirmation. And Loretta pulled that young man aside and she really built him up and she goes, you can do it. You can really, really do it. And he hadn't been told that probably ever. If he was, it had been a long time because he really, really needed that positive information. And he really, really stopped it. He goes, I did it. He goes, I did, didn't I? I said, you did. And Loretta just spent some time, just kind of pouring some good things into that young man's mind and in his being because he hadn't been told, I did it. I really, really did it. He goes, I did, didn't I? Amazing, amazing, rewarding feeling for us, for him, and the school that saw it, the administrators and the teachers and the counselors that saw it, that couldn't even, well, that's not what we're supposed to do, but it is. And sometimes we forget that human touch, and sometimes we forget that human capacity, that we have the power to build people up and to make a difference in their lives like never before. And that's what we get to do with Joliet Unity Movement. That's why I love this. I love going to like political stuff to support good candidates. I love going to meetings and stuff. But I would give all that up in a heartbeat to do all this stuff that we get to do with the kids. And I know we have to partner with good folks like you guys that have our best intentions for our kids and for people like us that want to do good in the neighborhood. I can't tell you how much we need advocacy for doing the right things for the right reasons and getting people elected for the right reasons and that mean us well at the long term. Because we can put a Band-Aid on somebody, but if they go home and mom doesn't have a job and she's working 4 jobs to try to just make rent and mom's not there and they're basically, raising themselves and we don't have livable wage jobs or we don't own our homes and we're constantly moving and those types of things, it's just a Band-Aid. It's just a temporary situation. We need all parts together. We need our elected officials. We need our other community groups. We need our advocacy groups. We need our political action committees. We need all of that working together in a conducive environment so when these kids go home, their mom can say, you know what, I don't have to work 4 jobs anymore. I can work my 1 job and a side job, freelancing, and I can spend more quality time with you. So come on, we're going to go to an event together now. And you know what? We own our home now too. Because we have these things in place that'll help us get home ownership. And you know what? I'm not sick anymore because I had good health insurance that helped me overcome the illness that I was going through. I've got good mental health help. So now I'm not just a zombie walking around medicated or not medicated enough that, I don't know how to function. These kids need these things. These kids are so, I can't even describe to you how much the PTSD is in the communities, in the neighborhoods, in all over, Chicago, Joliet, these kids have seen things that kids their age are not supposed to see. They've witnessed our first year in Joliet Unity Movement. One of the kids that I knew growing up, and several of the other members knew growing up, and a lot of our kids that participated in our first 815 weekend was August, October. They lost a great friend right in front of them, was murdered, shot 4 times, and died instantly. They see things that kids aren't supposed to see. So we have to make sure that we're putting stuff in them that kids are supposed to see and kids are supposed to do. Thank you for having us. We appreciate you guys letting us talk and present. And if you have any questions even afterwards off camera, please by all means let us know.